Taylor. It's good to see you again. How have you been since we saw each other last?
I've been okay. I've had some ups and downs this last week, but still feeling a little depressed.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that in a little bit. I'd like to start with setting the agenda.
Okay.
Okay. First we're gonna do a little mood check. I'm gonna get an update for some specific things that have been happening since we saw each other last.
Okay.
We'll go over your homework that you did for last time and prioritize the agenda. After we talk about a problem, then we're gonna work on one of the problems, or two if we have time.
Okay.
And then we're gonna talk about some new homework, and then I'll summarize what we've talked about and get some feedback from you. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, that sounds
Okay. Is there anything you'd like to add?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, good, thanks. So tell me from the last time that we saw, or let me start with the mood check. On a scale of 0 to 10, with 0 being no depression at all and 10 being profoundly depressed, where would you put yourself today?
Probably at about a 6.
A 6 today? Okay, I'm going to write that down, okay?
Okay.
And through last week, if you think about over the last week, where would you put yourself?
Probably at a 7.
Okay, so it's a little better today than it was.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, can you tell me what's happened since we've seen each other last, just in a few sentences?
Yeah, well, I think last time when we talked, I was telling you a little bit about how I lost my job, and that was making me really depressed. Well, since then, I thought I put in some more applications, and I didn't get any call back or anything. So I decided to start college instead. I started school yesterday, and we took our first, well, not yesterday, Thursday, and then we took our first test last week. And I think I failed it, so that's just really been on my mind.
Okay. Okay, well, we'll talk about those things in just a minute.
Okay.
Let's talk about the homework. I gave you the thought record. You were going to write down your thoughts when you were feeling the depression. Can you tell me how it went?
It went really good. It actually made me have to sit down and think about the thoughts that were going through my mind when I was feeling so bad.
Okay. Did you learn anything or see a pattern or anything?
Yeah, I think so. I think just when something upsetting happened, I definitely seen a pattern of what thoughts I was thinking, and it all pretty much circled around one thought. So.
Okay. What was that thought, if you don't mind?
Just that I'm a failure.
Okay. Alrighty. Okay, I'm glad that it worked well for you. Now you'd mentioned some depression about the loss of the job, and then college, and you know, you just started college and you were afraid you failed the test. Now, out of those two problems that you were talking about, which would you want to work on today?
Probably starting school.
Okay, so we'll work on school, and then if we have time, we'll work on the job.
Okay.
Okay. So, tell me a little bit about the school, you know, going to school and why, you know, you think you failed a test.
Okay, so the main reason I decided to go back to school is because I wanted to find something that I really like to do, and, you know, just to have a skill pretty much. So, my first class is biology, and the test was really hard, and I just don't think I passed it, and if I don't pass it, I just don't think I can pass any of them. I just don't know if I'm going to be good at school now.
Okay, so you're thinking that if you didn't pass this test, then you're going to fail all the other tests.
Yes.
Okay, how much do you believe that? Between 0 and 1. Or 0 and 10, I'm sorry.
Probably right now, probably about a 9.
Okay, so you believe that about a 9. Okay. How do you feel when you think about this?
Really sad and angry and frustrated.
Okay. I'm writing this down if you don't care. Okay. How strongly do you feel that? 0 to 10.
Probably about a 9 too.
About a 9? Okay. Um, so, do you think this thought in specific situations?
Usually when I have to do something that is important, like when I'm applying for jobs, I usually think that I'm gonna fail or that I'm not gonna get the job because I'm useless, and or when I'm taking a test, or when sometimes maybe when I want to go out with my friends and they have other plans, I kind of feel that way too, that why would they want to go out with me? I'm just a failure at everything I do. So
Okay. When you're thinking this, what do you notice going on in your body?
Stomach probably hurts.
Okay, so you have a physical reaction.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you do next?
Sometimes I cry, or
Okay.
I go, if I'm at home, I usually go lay down. But I usually just go somewhere where I can be by myself to cry or to just be by myself.
Okay. Right now I want to challenge the validity of that thought.
Okay.
Okay. What evidence do you have that supports that idea that if that you're a failure, or that if you didn't pass this one, then you won't pass any of the others?
None, I don't guess. I don't have my test score back yet, so I don't know that I failed this one. So, and even if I did, I guess it doesn't mean I would fail the next one.
Right? Okay, good. So what evidence do you have against it?
I did study really hard.
Okay.
And I did know some of them. I knew that I knew some of the questions. It's just the other ones I didn't know. That made me worry.
Okay. What effect do you believing that automatic thought? What effect does that have on you?
It probably makes me lose focus a little bit and not really be able to fully focus on the test, if that makes sense. It kind of distracts my thinking and from what I need to be doing.
Okay. What if you could change your thinking about it? What effect do you think that would have on you?
Probably would make me perform a little better.
Okay. Good. Now I've got a question that I ask that's really helpful to some of my clients, and I'm going to ask you: what would you tell a friend that was in a similar situation as you are?
Probably just to keep her head up, that she doesn't know her test score yet, and that even if she did bad on this one, there's still 6 more quizzes that she could pull her grade up.
Okay. And do you think that you could believe that yourself?
I think maybe.
Okay.
I think so.
Do you see how that automatic thought leads you to an emotion, which leads you to a behavior? You actually have a physical reaction to it, and then you have a behavior.
I do.
Okay, that's CBT. When we talk about CBT, our thoughts affect our emotions that affect our behavior,
Right.
and there it is in action. The thought that you're having, that if you don't do this, then you are a failure.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard you say that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's called a cognitive distortion.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called a distortion because, as you could see when we went back over it, we showed that it was not true. So it's distorted thinking.
Okay.
And this particular distortion is overgeneralization.
Okay.
Where you're taking one situation and you're making it, if this happens in this situation, it's going to happen in all other situations.
Okay.
Okay. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Great. You assume that you can't get a passing grade, so you're going to be a failure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This also points to a core belief.
Okay.
Something that's down in that kind of guides our automatic thoughts, and it's of worthlessness. And so I just wanted to let you know a little bit about that. Does it make sense to you?
Yeah, it really does.
Okay, great. Okay, for right now, I'd like to come up with a different homework assignment for you.
Okay.
If you feel like that the the thought record helped you, you can continue to do that.
Okay.
And then I have this other idea of, because you're so worried about failing in different things, I wanted to see if you would be willing to do like a credit list of things that you do well. Like when something goes good and you do something well, that you give yourself a credit list, you write down, hey, I did this well. Does that sound like something you'd be willing to do?
Yeah.
It shouldn't take that long, to do that.
I think it's a good idea.
Great. Do you want to add anything to it?
No, I think that's a good start for this week.
Okay, great. All right, so today we talked about your mood. It was about a 6 today. It was a 7 throughout the week. Can I ask you what it is now? Like 0 to 10? What's your depression level right now?
Probably about a 2 now.
Oh, great. So it really helped to go through
really
that
did.
process. Great. And then we talked about some your homework, and you thought that helped you out a lot. We talked about the problem that's been going on with the school and how it kind of trickles over, and then we went through the automatic thought and what it was, and that the if I don't do this, then I'm a failure, and then we talked about the cognitive distortion and how it was CBT, and then of course we talked about homework.
Yeah.
Does that sound accurate? Okay,
That's it.
good. Now let me ask you, in today's session, was there anything that you especially liked or that you didn't like? Anything you'd like to change?
Yeah, I really like how you let me prioritize my problems. Like you let me pick the one that I think is the most urgent to talk about. I feel like that really helps me to think, wow, what really was the most urgent problem? Because sometimes I feel I have so many in 1 week. Just having to prioritize what hurt me the most or what was I down about the most really helps. So I really like that.
Okay, great. I'm glad to hear that. Was there anything that you didn't like?
No, I think it went really well.
Okay, and at any time in the future, if there's anything that you want to change or add or do a little differently, just let me know. We can do that.
Okay, that sounds wonderful.
Great. Well, thank you for coming in,
Okay.
and I will see you next week.
That sounds great. Thank you.
Bye, Tickler.
Bye.